Hello guys and welcome back to another UCL Fantasy video. Today I'm going to present to you my Matchday 10 team selection video. I'm going to be showcasing first of all the playoffs games and how the first legs finished and what should we expect from the second legs. Then we're going to see how my team did in Matchday 9 and where were the weak points, what am I probably looking to change or to target to change, and then I'm going to present to you my Matchday 10 team selection. Have in mind that this is not my final team. I'm going to look at on the deadline stream because we'll have the most information, we'll have lineups info, and if some of my players are not starting or are not in the groups, we'll take care of this. If you want to support me and show your appreciation for the content that I create, please subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 5k subscribers. It's a very high number for me, but I decided to put a bigger goal because you just smashed the previous one, and yeah, I want to smash more and more goals along the way. You can always leave down a comment whatever you think about my team, if you have any questions about yours. Now let's go and see the games because I believe they are going to be so spicy. Here are the fixtures that we are going to have in Matchday 10. First of all, we start with Milan versus Feyenoord. This is the first game of the week, so we will know the lineups for Milan and Feyenoord, which is not a lot for a lot of teams, but for sure it will be easier for you to make adjustments to your sides if you're looking for Milan players or if you want to bet on Feyenoord. Feyenoord won the first fixture, so Milan at San Siro will want to destroy them, and it's going to be pretty interesting there. Then we have Benfica versus Monaco with 1-0 lead for Benfica. I think that they are going to defend that small margin of a lead, and they're going to go into the next round. The game that provides the most interest for me is Atalanta versus Bruges. It provides interest because Atalanta need to win, and at home they're a different beast, and I think that this is going to be a game where a lot of goals will be scored by Atalanta. Let's see if Lookman is going to be back. Most probably he wouldn't be, but only time will tell, and when we see the group for Atalanta, we will make the decisions. Then we have Bayern versus Celtic. Bayern with a very small lead, as they shown against Bayer Leverkusen. They can defend well, but I really think that they're going to go and score some goals against Celtic. It's in their DNA to go and score goals away from home. Celtic was a tough game, but at the Allianz Arena, I think Bayern are scoring for fun. Then on the next day, two of the games look like mostly already confirmed to be concluded. Dortmund versus Sporting. We will know the lineups for Dortmund and Sporting, so that will make things easier for you. If, for example, Girassi is benched or something like that, you may not even include him in the squad. So that's a good thing for you. Then we'll see if Gyökeres makes the lineup, of course, but transfers will be locked. Then the other for me concluded game is PSG versus Brest. I think that PSG are going to score once again against Brest, but they're not going to be firing at full capacity, so I'm most probably going to offload some of their players, but let's see how it goes. Then we have Real versus Manchester City. Real took the advantage at the dying breath of the first game at Etihad Stadium, but now it's going to be way more interesting to follow. Erling Haaland is now rumored to be injured. He left the field with a slight injury, so let's see if he's going to be fit for Real Madrid game. This is probably their most important game for the foreseeable future, so if he has any chances to play, he will play for sure. And PSV versus Juve. Juve took the lead, and PSV, it's time for them to showcase their capabilities, and let's see if they're able to score. Probably the games that I will target the most are Atalanta versus Bruges and Bayern versus Celtic, because I think those teams at home will score a lot of goals. Dortmund and PSG with that lead, I would be hesitant to include more than one player from their attacks, like Girassi and probably Dembele will be the limit, but let's go and see what we can adjust. Now, where I see a big surprise happening, I think PSV Juve is a game where I'll be watching for surprises, because PSV are not a weak home side and they have proven that they can score goals. Let's see if Juve can proceed forward, but the rest of the games, I think it's advantage home teams everywhere. Let's see if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. And now let's see how my team did in Matchday 9. I think it did pretty okay. So here is the performance of my team in Matchday 9. I would say that it was pretty disappointing, if I would have to say. A very unusual formation for my liking, but I ended in a 5-2-3. I will showcase to you why I ended that. We start with Neuer, who conceded a stupid goal from Celtic, and the clean sheet was gone, and I didn't get a goalkeeper with any points once again. Of course, here Donnarumma was another player that I thought about, but having already 2 defenders meant that I would have to swap Nuno Mensch, who I really wanted in my squad. So at the end of the day, will I change my goalkeeper if I have to go back? Probably the answer is yes, but with the information that I had prior to that, I think that Neuer was the way to go. I will showcase to you in a second the bench and why those players. I have players with 1 and 2 points into my team. We start with Hien, who was on a 5-pointer to be fair, but at the end of the game he conceded a penalty, so that's a -1, a yellow card and a second goal conceded, so he lost 3 points, which at the end of the day cost me dearly because Jimisti lost his goal point as well. So at the end of the road I lost 4 points from that penalty. That wasn't a penalty, by the way, but it is what it is. And if I have to be honest, I take blame. A lot of players I recommended, Atalanta players too. I really think that at home they will do wonders, but let's see if I'm proven wrong. Thankfully they play in the first day this time around. Then we have Otamendi for 10 points. I think a brilliant performance by Otamendi. He got 6 points and 4 points from ball recoveries. That's a lot of ball recoveries, believe me, and that's an amazing performance. He outscored most of the defenders, even with some attacking returns in their name. So yeah, for example, like Hakimi, who got an assist in my team but just finished on 9 points. Those center backs that play for teams that like to defend and are good center backs are going to be gems going forward. We have Jimisti that I already mentioned. I'm pretty disappointed with his performance. To be fair, at the end of the day, Zappacosta was the right decision, but there were rumors that Zappacosta was ill, and I decided to switch to Jimisti. I was wrong. I lost 3 points in the meantime because of the assist of Zappacosta. At the end of the day, the decisions I make are solely mine, and it was not a good decision, but still, I enjoyed it. Hakimi and Nuno Mensch, amazing, but here I'm missing a very obvious defender being Gachi. If I went with Gachi instead of Nuno Mensch, and I have Di Gregorio on the bench, you'll see it in a second, instead of him I went with Donnarumma, I would have been feasting and probably Jimisti would not have been in the squad, but at the end of the day, shit happens. Then we have Pulisic with a 2-pointer. What a poor performance by AC Milan and him in particular. Thankfully, he plays in the first game, and if he does something similar, I will take him out immediately from my team. Dembele, the star of the team. Thankfully, I got the right captain with 13 points. Yes, there were players with around similar points like him, but Dembele in my team was the best that I can go for, and thankfully I made the right decision. Up front, Kane and Mbappe with a goal each, not man of the match award though, which is quite sad but expected as they were not the best players on the field. And Guirassy up front with 11 points. I was so close not picking Guirassy. Thankfully, I picked Guirassy, and it paid off massively. This guy is a star in my team, of course. I could have gone with Pavlidis, who scored also and got man of the match, but I was nowhere looking, including Pavlidis instead of Guirassy. Then we have Mbappe, who I went with instead of Vini Jr., and that's the mistake that I'm most sad about, because in UCL, Vini is just on a different level. Going into the bench, I benched Foden with 4 points instead of, instead of Pulisic or Jimisti or Hien. I really thought that Foden with 4 points, and the defenders, they were looking likely to get a lot of points, but at the end, they didn't. Barcola and Bakayoko with 2 points were never surviving, as well as Di Gregorio. As I mentioned, I went with Di Gregorio and Nuno Mensch instead of Gachi and Donnarumma, and so far it hasn't paid off. Let's see in the second fixture, but most probably it's not going to pay off either, sorry. Yeah, my midfield was a completely big disappointment. I had Paixão for the longest time in my team, but I decided to switch him for Barcola, which was a mistake, and now I don't know exactly what I'm planning to do, but yeah, I will showcase to you the transfers that I'm planning to start with, but let's see if those transfers will be making their way into the team for the upcoming Matchday 10, or if I will change something else depending on news and starting lineups. Starting in the team with the goalkeepers as per usual. First of all, we're going to visit Manuel Neuer. He has a home fixture against Celtic, and I think that this is going to be enough for me this week. I don't think I'll be relying on a day two keeper, but just in case I have Di Gregorio to do the job. I predicted PSV to be the biggest surprise out there in the second legs, but let's see if that's going to be the case or not. But for sure, Manuel Neuer at home against Celtic is going to be the most important keeper that I look up to, just like I did in the first week, but they finished all the same. Hopefully this time around he can keep a clean sheet. Moving into defense, I have 3 defenders that are going to be playing in the first day. After we go through the team as a whole, I will mention that which player plays where, how I'm going to rotate them, and what is going to happen. But it's Hien, Otamendi, and Jimisti. Jimisti and Hien play at home against Bruges. I think after the first fixture loss, I think they are going to fight harder and harder and harder, and they are going to win that fixture. Hopefully with a clean sheet. The good thing is now that I have Nuno Mendes and Hakimi to replace them in day 2 if something happens. But Otamendi at home is going to start, as he didn't pick the yellow card that everyone was making me not viable, but making me aware of situation of his. But yeah, at the end of the day, Jimisti, Otamendi, and Hien will start the fixture, and you're going to see the dates in a second. Nuno Mendes and Hakimi going to be for day 2. Then in midfield, adding 2 more new players. I think it's obvious in which route I'm going. I'm keeping Dembele and Pulisic. Pulisic needs to fight, and that would mean that him against Feyenoord at home is a very good fixture for him to fight back. He got on from the bench in the league against Verona, so that would say that he's going to be a starter and got a good rest before that fixture, and I think that he will do quite well. Dembele for now is the captain, but that of course will change as he's a day 2 player, as you're going to see in a second. Finally, I have Foden, who survives the changes, and you're going to ask why. Because I still think that this is Manchester City, and if Haaland is injured, I think Foden will be playing 1,000,000% with Grealish out and with Haaland out. I think Foden is going to start no matter what, and he is going to try to influence the game. Against Real Madrid is not going to be easy per se, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be enough for him. Then we have Ulize and Pasalic joining the team instead of Barcola and Bakayoko. Bakayoko is a day 2 player this week, and I think that he might be rotated as well this week, so I'm not going to risk it, while Pasalic and Ulize both play in day 1 of the match day, so I will know if they are going to play the expected minutes or not, and I'll have candidates to be replaced in the second day. Of course, Barcola absence is a little bit interesting, but he started the weekend fixture while Dembele got a rest, and I think Dembele is the best player to own currently from PSG. And after the resounding 3-0 victory, I don't think that they will go as hard as they were in the first fixture. Ulize, on the other hand, got subbed off pretty early against Bayer Leverkusen, and that can be the case against Celtic as well, but I'm willing to risk it. As mentioned, he plays on day 1, and when he plays on day 1, I'm willing to take the risks. Up front, Harry Kane versus Celtic is going to be my captain for match day 10 day 1. I think he starts, he plays, and he does all the job. Then on the second day, I have Guirassy and Mbappe facing off Sporting and City respectfully. So yes, I don't know what to say about them more than they keep scoring goals. Mbappe, of course, was not the ideal selection instead of Vini, but I made my mind when I picked the team, and I went with Mbappe. So I'm going to be patient with him and see what he can do. Of course, my transfer plans can change if someone like Lookman returns, if someone like let's say Foden is said to be missing out the game or something like that. Of course, all the plans can change, but for now, that's the structure. If we go and sort them by date in the app, you can see that on the 18th of February, I have Neuer, 3 defenders, then I have 3 more midfielders, that's 7, and Harry Kane, 8 players, and then I have 2 up front, Dembele, 2 more in defense, and Di Gregorio. So I have 9 players. 6, 7. Oh no, I have 2 midfielders, sorry. So I have 8 on the first and 7 on the second. That's a good rotation combo to have. Let's see if I will need all the players from the bench either way, but even if I don't, I will try to fit in the best possible players from day 2. But yeah, let's attack day 1 as good as possible, because if I don't do it, it will be a lot of players, like 5. No, it's going to be Bakayoko and Barcola. So no, yeah, it will be only 6 players. So I will have Harry Kane, Pulisic. 6 players will be on the first day. So yeah, it's not up to me. But yeah, for now, this is how it's going to look. Of course, this is subject to changes. Tomorrow, when I record the deadline tips video, I'm going to list down as well if we have some worries about some team news, etc, etc, etc. But for now, I think that is the way to go. Of course, we're going to mention captains. Probably it will be around the same information that I gave you for Matchday 9, but probably will change slightly if we look at things a little bit differently. As per usual, special shout out to all the members of the channel: Seth, Foreign, 30 gifted, Zach, Oscar, Papa, Scouser with 50 gifted, and Hem. Thanks so much for contributing to the channel. If you guys want to become a member, there is a button below the video. You can join and see the perks that you'll be getting. If you cannot afford it, or you are not willing to spend your own money, you can just keep subscribing, liking, and commenting. It's completely for free, and it helps me a lot along down the road. So although I think that was informative video on my side, especially when I was doing the research, who to bring, what are the fixtures exactly, etc, etc, etc. If you can have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Once again, subscribe, like, do all of those great stuff. Promote me to your friends if they're playing the game and if they need some advice. Thanks so much for watching. Tomorrow is the deadline tips video. Then we're going to talk about the deadline stream, of course, that we're going to have it. And yeah, that would be the preparation for Matchday 10. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you do, once again, do the appreciative work. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.